Good evening. Hi, ladies.
Hey,
Hey,
what happened to our intro? I didn't even see it play.
You
I
missed
must be
it.
tired.
okay.
You played. You missed it.
Did
It
y'all see
played.
me trying to sing it the other night in a text message? I was like, I, or whatever the intro said.
Listen, I'm tired, but welcome back, y'all. What's good? Welcome to season 4.
Season
Welcome to 2024.
4.
Man, do you
Season
believe
4
it?
in 2024.
Season 4
Mm.
in 2024, book number 4.
Four, four,
Okay,
four, four.
444. We
They got
are
them
doing
spirit
it.
numbers.
What's going on? Happy New Year. Happy New You. Happy New Season. Like, what's been going on with y'all?
Everything. Life has been good. 2024, I can say 2024 so far for me has been great. Like they say, be careful what you pray for, because sometimes you think God not listening and He listening, and
Yeah.
then He don't knock on the door. He just kick it open and be like, "Here you go." So that's how my 2024 has been. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I asked for this, but I don't know if I was ready, but I got ready real quick." So it's 2024 for me so far has been amazing. New clients, new opportunities. I'm excited. It's just my calendar has very little empty dates.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it. Tip, what's going on with you? First of all, we saw the certification. It's what? So I'm coming through for some re-ups on the braids.
Yes,
Is what you saying?
yes. I'm just saying, 2024. Like, first of all, I'm being persistent.
Yep.
Like that's my word of the year. I don't do the whole, resolutions and everything like that. So my word that everything I do is powered by is resistant or resistance. Persistence, sorry, rewind. Resistant, persistent. I'm gonna say this word today. I'm being persistent in everything that I do. Okay. So yes, I just got my test results back this afternoon. I am once again a certified New York State cosmetologist. So I am going to get my insurance. I'm gonna build that clientele because we always got to have a side hustle. Because we got to make them coins
Period.
until a New York Times bestselling authors and worldwide known motivational speakers, we gotta hustle. I
Speaking.
started my new job, so
Congrats.
yeah. And 2024 is my soft girl season, so everything is just lining up for me to be delicate and feminine. I'm actually deciding I'm gonna wear a dress to work tomorrow. It's a little nippy here in New York, but it ain't so bad. I'm gonna wear a dress.
Oh, we here
Okay.
for it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it, lady. So look, I'm over here losing earrings. They just popping off. They like, we tired. You've
They
had a
excited.
They're like, you've been doing a lot today. I have been doing a lot. But look, y'all know the most exciting thing is she got the braces on, okay? Her teeth are free. Hey, that was a long two
Come on,
years.
Colgate Smile.
Your
That
teeth
was
been
a long
paroled.
2 years in that gate, the gate that I call braces. But no, like y'all, life is just life in a good way. Like there's so much coming at me, so much opportunity. Of course, y'all know I got that promotion at work. Thank you for the promotion and the more coins that come with it. Of course, there's more responsibility, so my hours are nuts. But I'm loving it. Y'all know we working on book number 4.
Yep.
What else is going on? Like there's just so much going on. The list could go on and on. I don't want to brag about me, but what I do want to take a minute to brag about is all of our new diamonds. Come on for the new diamonds, real
I'm so
quick, y'all.
excited.
Check out our new diamonds, real quick, Jims. Go ahead and take a look. Go ahead and look.
Ladies, we literally doubled in size. And these are some phenomenal women. I want to point out that I can see some of them in the audience tonight. So thank you, New Diamonds.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey,
new
new diamonds.
diamonds.
Checking
Listen,
in.
real quick, I have to just say, when we had our first call with the new diamonds, and y'all know me for my diamonds who were here before, my legacy diamonds who have come back. y'all know I like to do homework and assignments. And one of the assignments they had to present on our very first meeting. And when I tell you they brought the magic, they brought the shine, I was like, oh, so y'all not playing at all. And we are so here for it. So I'm just so grateful because when y'all know, y'all been my leaders for years. Y'all know when we're building something like this that's authentic and it's, it has a strong moral code and it's built on integrity and authenticity. And we ain't out here trying to go viral. We just really trying to heal and save lives. It take a little longer to get there. And I believe this group of diamonds are going to get us there. Like they are phenomenal. So welcome to our new diamonds. We are so glad to shine with you and write with you. Y'all not ready for this new book. That's all I'm gonna say. Just, y'all not ready. Not for the one coming out in April or the one coming out in 2025. You're just not ready. But you should probably get ready because these books are going to be amazing and life-changing. And we can't wait to get them in your hands. But look, that's enough chit-chat, ladies. We got a show tonight. I am so excited about tonight's show. I'm excited about our guests that are here. We brought the fellas. We heard y'all. Last season, y'all were like, look, team, we like y'all. You, Tiff, Mel, y'all cool. But do y'all know any men? Because we need some male perspective. Y'all wanted a different vantage point. Y'all wanted to hear a different voice. And so we brought that. We bringing that all season. So shout out to all of the gents who reached out to the Diamond Riders, who reached out to me, who reached out to Mel and Tiff saying, yup, me. Pick me. I want in. I have something to say. We are making room for you. We're making room for your voice. We're making room for your gifts. We're making room for your perspective. But we got two tonight that we believe are going to handle this conversation. And we're going to let them talk. Because what are we, ladies? We are soft life women. So we know when to shut up and listen. That's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So I want to bring out our first guest. He is no stranger to anything that I do. Because if I'm a part of it, I usually pull him in. But he is a speaker, an author, a writer, a father, a husband, a coach, a dean, a teacher, an educator. He is a poet. What I like to refer to him as a slam artist, a spoken word artist, all the things. He's going to introduce himself in just a minute. But come on and bring out my brother from another mother, Chris Jones. We need some hand clap sounds. We need the sound effects. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey,
good.
That's awesome. That introduction was geez, I can take you on the road with that. I don't like what else do you say after that? You did a great job.
Thank
You hit everything.
Did I?
Almost.
All right, fill in the gaps though. Fill in the gaps.
Just here at Loyola Blakefield, I am dean, and I'm privileged to also be the very first Black chairperson that this school has had. They've been in existence since 1852, and I was able to become dean and chair at the same time, which is I have no life now. It's okay. It's all right. You did mention the wonderful, my wonderful half is like I'm not the best half, but my wife definitely. I hope she logged in. I sent her the link. We'll see if she can get in, but she is the
That's
most
my
important thing to me in the world. And then obviously my wonderful children, 17, 14, and 11. I know I'm old now.
We are old now. They were babies.
It's crazy. I will have 2 children in college in the next 2 years, which how does that happen? But it's all right. It's crazy. But that's life. It's flying, and we're doing a lot of amazing things, and I'm just loving where I am right now.
Man, well, we are so grateful you're here. And he didn't speak to it, but I'm telling y'all want to hear true poetry, like soul shattering, like heart throb, like the spoken word is just it's there. That's actually how we met. That's how we connected. The Sunday I visited the church, that's what he was actually preaching and speaking and doing poetry that day. And I was like, yeah, I need to be in this house because if talent and gifts are flowing like that, this is where I need to worship. And I joined the church because of the way he ministered. And so, yeah, he got several CDs out. Well, do we still have CDs? I'm sure it's on Spotify. I'm sure y'all can see him on YouTube. But
It's on
make sure
every
that
digital
y'all go.
platform.
Make sure y'all go and support. So, Chris, make sure at some point during the show, you drop your information for the folks so that they can go follow you and they can
Sure.
download your work.
Sure.
Amazing work. But look, we were extra backup. We got somebody else in the building tonight. We got another gent with us. And so, Mel, I'm gonna let you do the honors since you are better acquainted.
My honor and my privilege. For me, especially, nobody will understand this. My favorite middle child. Um, Mr. Ramale Archibald is multifaceted. So bass player, world touring bass player, nonetheless. Um, Philanthropist. He got all kind of companies and businesses. He be busy. And newly published author. Newly published author. He'll tell you more about that. But I'm gonna bring in my good friend, Mr. Ramale Archibald, into the scene.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Good night.
Good
I'm
night.
trying to
Oh, wait
sound
a
all
minute.
humble.
Good night. There's Caribbean roots in there. Is it? I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Good night.
that's how we greet. That's how we greet. We say hello, good night. Yes.
Well, welcome to the show, Ramale. Tell the people, I said what I could, but fill them in. Tell them a little bit about yourself from your own words.
I'm nervous.
Don't be.
All right, no, I'm not nervous. Thank you for having me. Once again, Ramale Archibald is the name. Musician, new author. This is a new journey for me, but I'm excited. The help of my great friend Mel Vanderpool. She's been helping along on this journey, and it's been a wonderful one so far. A few of my other ventures. Used to have a clothing line that I'm getting ready to expand. Seeing where the Lord leads me with that one. I have a coconut water company that I just started, fresh coconut water company, looking to have that up and running by the summertime so we can keep everybody hydrated down here in South Florida. And yeah, hope to do some more things. I don't know what the Lord has for me yet, but I'm open this year. And I'm excited to jump in tonight's conversation. I told Mel this isn't what I wanted to do with my night, but she was like, nope, you're going to do it because you have something for the people. So let's see what we got.
Dope.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for being here. We certainly appreciate it. As y'all know, y'all don't need no housekeeping rules. If you ever seen the episodes or you ever watched the Hustle and Shine podcast, we speak very freely here. However, our message is rooted in healing and wholeness. And so everything we talk about points back to you working on you being a better you for yourself first, and then for the benefit of others. And so we being my host and I, my co-host and I, we see the conversations about and the gender wars about who's the prize. Men are the prize, women are the prize. And there's this constant battle, mainly in media, social media, talk, television, and reality TV, and all the things where there's a narrative being pushed on both sides about who's the actual prize. And I feel like we're getting lost in the battle of the prize. So that's what we want to talk about tonight. We have 3 subtopics that we're going to roll out. But before we do, we always like to show some love to our gems and gents who are here with us in the building, as we call it. And so real quick, Mel, we could just grab 2 people to shout them out and give them some love before we jump in.
Absolutely. So since Chris mentioned it, I just want to, if I could find her, I know she was in here. I saw your wife pop up in here. So she's in the building. Oh, there she is. So
Hello, beautiful. I know those are for Chris, but I'm sitting
right. So we appreciate you for tuning in. We have tons and tons of diamonds in the building. They are here. Everybody's here giving us a bunch of applause. We got our new diamonds in here giving us applause. Thank you, Bernadette. She said she's so blessed to be a part of this collective. We are glad to have you.
Absolutely.
We have our none other than our Miss Sweets Rights giving us some hearts and some love here. We got tons of diamonds. It's all our new diamonds. We got guests returning. So we just here. Our numbers, I'm looking at how many people are logged in. Some of y'all not commenting, but that's okay. I see you. I see you in the presence. In the house of Hustle and Shine. Okay.
We are so glad you're here. Thank you for that love. All right, so let's jump into the first subtopic. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is the battle. And y'all know me, I don't always like to focus on the issue or the problem, more so the solution. But there are a lot of people who may have some conflicted views and understanding of where this battle came from, right? Like who introduced the term or the thought or the mantra that you're the prize, that I'm the prize. I think for the church, the black church, we take a lot of that from being made in God's likeness and being unique and wonderfully made, and so we have converted that thought into, well, I'm a prize. One of my favorite lines I used to say, I'm telling on myself, when I was dating, I used to be like, well, God died for me, so clearly I'm something special, like clearly, but God died for everybody, Tima, so it's not just you, right? But that's what I used to tell myself. That's what I used to convince myself of. And so we're seeing this, again, as I like to refer to as the gender war, this battle between man and woman, between girls and guys, between, what I'm saying, husbands and wives even are fighting. So I'm gonna actually come to the married man first, because I'm pretty sure that's not the case in your home, because you've already made it clear that you view your wife as the better half. But I'd love to hear from you, Chris, about how do you view this when you see this in media and you see this on television and entertainment, the narrative that men or women are the prize?
Well, the very first thing, you guys know that everything in my life is rooted and steeped in the Word of God. And we shouldn't be so surprised by the fact that there's conflict between man and woman. If you look in scripture, I believe it's Genesis chapter 3, verse 16 ish, somewhere around there, when God is kind of giving out his consequences for biting the apple. He tells Eve, and your desire shall be to rule over your husband, but he shall rule over you, which God set forth that conflict from the beginning of our existence. And
Mhm.
so, with that being there, you got to know that it's going to be present. Even with the best of couples, me and my wife, a wonderful marriage, and there's still conflict. You know, it just happens. It's literally in our God-given DNA, and then it's also in our biological DNA,
Mhm.
because we just think differently. Men and women, we not only think differently, we are logical most of the time when we're thinking from a male perspective. Everything needs to add up. You tend to see a more emotional or heartfelt thought process when it comes to women. And when you're thinking about emotion, logic isn't always in that situation. And when you're thinking about logic, emotion isn't always in that situation. So there's going to be a natural conflict
Mhm.
right then and there.
Yeah. Wow. That's good and so true. Mel, I'm gonna jump over to you before I go to Ramel. I
Okay,
want you.
we lost Tiff,
I
but I guess
saw,
we'll be
but we'll
back.
get her back.
Oh,
What
she's back.
just to balance the scales. What I want from you, Mel, is like introduce some of the things that women are telling themselves and each other in terms of what makes us the prize. Like, why do we believe we're the prize? Is it our physique and our silhouette? Is it the fact that we are out earning many men right now, that we're out learning them and having more degrees than they are? Is it because many of us weren't even raised to respect men and see them as valuable? What are some of the things that what I'm saying, that you think about when you think of this war for the prize?
Um, I think there are two components, and we talked about the biblical component and then our cultural components. From a biblical standpoint, I think it happens when in the Bible it says, "He that finds a wife finds a good thing." So
Mhm.
right there, it's like, oh no, he got to find me. He got to come get me. So you've now adapted this, like, I am to be gotten. I am to be found.
Mhm.
But then culturally, growing up, little like as a girl, you're taught that. You're taught, you know what I'm saying? You're this amazing thing, and any man that gets you is gonna be so great, and he has to work for you, and he has to earn you, and so you're taught then that it's like it's all about you. When it comes to this, he has to find me, he has to work for me, he has to court me, and so it's like, well, work for me,
Mhm.
you know. And then societally, we've now adapted this whole thing of I can do for myself. So if I can do for myself, and I'm a woman that has a 6-figure job and I have 2 degrees and I have a house and I have a car, oh, you're it's a benefit for you to get me because there are so many men that want me. So if I choose you, it's like you're welcome.
That mindset.
Um, and so, and then you have girlfriends that still continue to perpetuate what their mothers told them. So they're still behind their girlfriend's ear telling them, girl, look what you got going on. Look at all that you have. And he'll be lucky to get you. And oh my, you. And so we're just continuing that same conversation that our mothers told us at 4, 5, and 6, at 25, 30, and 40. We're repeating that same rhetoric amongst our girlfriends. So it really starts in the dialect and the mental training, that's happening over these years. And then men have kind of over the years been taught the opposite, but now have gotten to a point where they were like, wait a minute, hold up. So now they're fighting back. So now this battle now is like, oh no, wait a minute now. It's just like I got this and this too. So for years I feel like for a long time it was accepted where women were to be taken care of. You stayed at home, you took care of the house, you did your kids, he went out and worked, he provided. And then when that shift happened, and now it's like, okay, well, you doing this and I'm doing this too. Men are like, well, hold up. So now that's where the battle has come in now, where you're getting these two people that feel like I matter too. I'm important too. And unfortunately, especially in our culture, for a long time, men were taught that they didn't matter.
Right.
They weren't important.
Right.
They weren't a factor. So there was no consideration for them. And I don't think that that's such a big case in other cultures so much where you have this battle. I feel like this battle happens more so in minority cultures than it does in others, where you find this tug and war for the prize.
Absolutely. Good response, Mel. I'm going to come to you, Ramale, but real quick, I just want to intercept and add a thought to what Mel said. Like you alluded to earlier, women are not taught how to treat men, and men are not taught how they should be treated by women. Not all. I'm not saying it's non-existent, but it is not as common in our culture for a mother to raise her daughter treating her brothers well or teaching her how to treat her father well or other men well, and vice versa. No one ever told, my ex, hey, you should be treated well also. And so when I did, it was like, what is this? It was very unfamiliar for him because he was not used to being treated well. He was not used to being considered. He was not used to being thought of in those ways. So one thing I want you to answer for me, Ramale, is we have women who are misplacing value, right? They're placing their value in how much they earn, in the way that they look. And so it is diminishing and discrediting how they view men and how they respect men. And that has become a huge part of the battle. It's like, well, like Mel said, I make all this money, so I get to choose who I want to be with versus you choosing me. So from your perspective, what has that been like for you, either personal experience or what you've observed in social media and in media, as women are misplacing value and why they think they're the prize?
There's so many entrances I can use to answer that question, but it all boils down, for me personally, all boils down to individuals, men and women, showing up to the table with this long list of expectations that none of us meet on our own daily basis. We want X, Y, Z, and nothing on that list I can say that I'm expecting for you to bring to me, I can bring for myself. Starts with it. You said something a while ago regarding choice, and I'm starting my new book. It's actually called Choose Me or Lose Me, and it speaks about making choices. One of the greatest things in my journey when it comes to relationships that I try to stay on top of is not taking someone's choice away from them. I hate my choice being taken away from me. So you feel as though, as a woman, you have worked all your life to get to a point where your status is where it's supposed to be. You're making 6 figures. You're just doing what you're supposed to do in life, and that man isn't what you want him to be,
Mhm.
you have the choice to walk away from that. But don't put those demands on people. We tend to say we want to hold people accountable for showing up in a certain manner in a relationship, but that other person never agreed to those things that you're expecting from them.
Mm.
And we're expecting accountability for parts of the contract they never signed off on. We
Mm.
might have verbally said certain things, but they never verbally agreed to it.
Mm.
As far as these demands and as far as this new mindset way of thinking, where and I try to split the justice because I have a few male counterparts that don't do what they're supposed to do either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna split the justice. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just call it, if they're watching, it is what it is. You know, we have locker room talk, but it is what it is. The goal is to be a better version of yourself every day, whether you're a woman or a man, right?
Mm.
But showing up and demanding these delusional delusional demands has to get to a place where we ask ourselves within, is this realistic? Am I
Mm.
showing up as this version of myself that I'm asking this person to show? And a lot of times we aren't. um,
Mm.
a conversation I had with Mel a while back was, I don't know if she remembered, but it was regarding a current situation that I was recently released from, to say
Come on, released.
recently released from. And something that I learned in that particular situation is that um, we become delusional about this person. We see all these different things in them that we want, and we create a scenario before the scenario even arrives. Then when it gets to the place where we feel like the scenario should be there, we're upset.
Mm.
This whole battle can get to an end once we start dealing with self, every individual.
Mhm.
um I was thinking about this, and I think about trophy, right? What does a trophy look like? And a lot of the times we show up saying that we're this golden solid gold trophy, and as situations progress, we realize that we're actually gold plated.
Mm.
And once the gold starts to strip and our true component, that true element underneath the gold is revealed, we start to make excuses why the other person didn't take care of the trophy. They didn't polish, they didn't dust me the right way. They didn't show up and made sure I was on the top shelf. When really you lied about who you are when you showed up in the first place. So were you really the prize?
Dang.
I want to get up on my seat. I just want to walk off
Shots
the screen.
fired. And then
I
he
just,
sips. And then he sips.
right.
Come on, sir.
I just want to walk off the screen. I don't.
Come on, sir. Oh, gold plated. Look, all right. Tiff, I'm gonna come to you and then I'm gonna come back to Chris. Tiff, as a married woman, as as a married woman for several years, are women the prize? I gotta ask you that. Like, are women the prize? Yes or no? And if so, why or why not?
So I'm gonna say, as a married woman, no, women are not the prize, but neither is he. It's
Mm.
the relationship that's the prize. And we'll get to that later on. I have been over here. I don't know if anybody noticed. I've been over here scribbling like I'm in class. So, well, first of all, I had to find my little mic that wasn't working so I could drop the mic. Mel over here, like here, mic drop. There we go. Um,
Period.
the the battle comes from, I think right now a big part of it is fueled by social media, and particularly music and television movies. It's like almost a mantra right now that these are the lyrics that are being sung and put out by both the men and the women. Like,
Mhm.
so that's one thing there. And then we have a society that is very impressionable and very gullible and likes to follow. So if this is what my idol is saying, or if this is what this person is saying, then it is gospel. And I say that based off of the fact that we've already brought the Bible into this, and where the Bible says what it says about the relationship and all that other stuff. So they're now following the book of Nikki, the book of Meg, the book of whoever it is that they align with.
Mhm.
And I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective because I don't have a man's perspective on it on that. The other thing that I wanted to add is that women, particularly women of color, have been the face and the muscle behind so many movements that once we get into relationships, it becomes very difficult for us to navigate the space of when we're supposed to show up as the leader and when it is we're supposed to fall back and be soft and submissive. So now we're out here, and I'm speaking for myself, picking the wrong battles in which it's like, well, I'm the face, I'm the leader, I'm this, which is spawned by degrees and education and salary and all of these accolades that we have been taught to collect. And so it's now like, well, I got all of this. And if he doesn't match me degree for degree, dollar for dollar, then how is he the prize when I present that I'm more valuable, which goes into what Ramel was saying about, the gold plating. And the last thing I want to say when it comes down to relationships is that we get into relationships and we look at the potential that the person has beyond who it is that they've shown up as. And then we get upset when we've created this person in our mind and our heart. And then the other individual shows up as only a flawed human being. And now we're mad because this person, this idea of a person we put on a pedestal, has let us down, which now leads to anger and disappointment and brokenheartedness and bitterness. And you know what? The next time I get into a relationship, it's me. It's all about me and how I'm gonna come out on top. So
Mm.
I ain't
That
got
was
no mic
good.
to drop, but
Yeah, no, that was good, Tiff. Chris, I want to come back to you. I saw you taking notes. You look like you got something you want to add. So please go ahead and jump right back in.
Yeah. So Mel, um, you are supposed to be found. Um, Scripture
Right.
says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." Um, this is what I would say to all the gems out there. I'm learning new vocabulary tonight. All the gems out there, you control what he finds. And
Mm,
what he finds is often what you have been exposed to.
mm,
And
Oh,
one of the things that my wife told me is, man, now that I'm older, I realized how my aunts did me a disservice. They raised us to be strong, independent women.
mm.
And it is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But independency is oxymoronic when you're trying to enter into relationship. It's not something that's going to work. Really funny story. Early in my marriage, my wife, she came home, had a long day. I'm sitting in the basement and I'm thinking, yeah, she saw my car outside. She gonna come find me, say, hey, babe, how you doing? How was your day? Maybe I'm tired. I'm going to bed. About 10 minutes passed and I'm still sitting in the basement and I ain't seen my wife. So I go upstairs. She's upstairs in the bed, underneath the covers, lights off. And I said to her, I said, so you in this relationship by yourself? And she just busts out laughing. But she had been so used to, at the end of a rough day,
Mhm.
coming home, shutting down, that she didn't realize that that independency doesn't actually work when you're in a relationship. And so, again, trying to encourage our gems out there to figure out exactly what you want. Even Paul says, I wish that you all remain single like I am. And so that's the thing. So if you want to be independent and being by yourself and single, that runs hand in hand. But if you want to enter into a relationship with a person, some of that needs to be put in its proper place, because there will come a time, and Tiffany will be able to tell you, Natima, and anyone else that's been in a relationship, it's not even just marriage, forget it. There are times where the woman is going to need to step up and kind of lead various aspects. I cannot mother better than my wife. And so when it comes to mothering, she has to take the lead. But when it comes to being a father or a husband or things of that nature, I have to take the lead. There are places where I'm strong, there's places where she's strong. We lead where we're strong. Where the problem tends to come in is when people work out a deficiency and still want that to somehow be efficient. How does that work? It doesn't work. You are not good at this. You cannot tell a young man how to be a young man. That's a place of deficiency. However, if you try to run that train, you're going to find out that it's off the track quickly. And so, just trying to add that little bit of perspective. Yes, you should be found. You determine what this person finds, and what they find is often what you've been exposed to.
So you was just gonna come in here and drop a sermon?
No, because I was listen. I said between
cool.
Chris and Ramale.
Well, I was about to say, we need permission to put that in the bag.
Bishop, and Deacon for the night. We just Bishop and Deacon. We just gonna call y'all that because that y'all just wanted to come in here and preach. It's okay. I'm here for it. I love a good church, but I didn't bring the offering plate.
Listen, but our gyms already knew what to expect. This was season 4 premiere. We was gonna show off. We was gonna show out. So each of you kind of touch on our next subtopic, which is delusion. The delusion. Oh gosh. And let me set this up so that I make sure we tailor the conversation from a vantage point of help, because I don't want to attack anyone. Y'all know I promised I was going to do better at that this year, that I'm going to be softer in my approach to helping, because sometimes I'm the auntie that want to get it together. I just want to slap you first and then, rub you later. But no, I'm going to do better at being soft. Something Chris said a moment ago about, if you want to remain independent, then you should probably remain single. And when we say that and we present that to women, we are often met with the rebuttal or the response, the aggressive response. Well, I'll be soft for the right person, or I'll be feminine when he provides the space for that. I want to talk about that delusion, because that is exactly what that is. That is a delusion. And a lot of us feel comfortable living in our delusion because guess what? There's no accountability in Delulu land. There is no respect in Delulu land. Like, you can literally do whatever you want to do there. And so many of us have purchased real estate and built mansions and multi-unit condominiums right there in Delulu land, because it's safer for us, because most of us are not ready to be vulnerable. We're not ready to be honest with ourselves. We don't want to do that inner work, that shadow work, that healing work, whatever you want to call it, so that you become self-aware. And so instead, we kind of teeter in and out. We're back and forth. We have one foot in delusion and one foot in reality, which really, to me, sounds a lot like scripture when it talks about being hot or cold. And so I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about how we're delusional only, but why do we choose delusion when it comes to love and relationships that convince us I'm the prize, and here's why, and I'm going to remain with this mentality because I don't want to change the way I'm thinking, because then that means I need to change the way I am. So I'm going to actually come to you first, Ramale, because I liked your face when I said something a moment ago. You saw a light. And so I want to know what sparked the light, and then I'm going to come to you, Chris. Go ahead.
So much sparked the light. Because in my experience, we have gems in the particular pool that wants to be the rich auntie but a wife at the same time. And that doesn't really work, because most times in culture now, when you speak about the rich auntie, I don't have no kids, I don't got no man, I travel the world, I can see my nieces and my nephews and drop them off, go home to my big house and my 7-figure bank account. And I want somebody who can come and fill a void, and I can set my demands and control how
Mm.
my show up in that space. They can't coexist. Um, they can, but it'll be very chaotic.
Mhm.
So what I'm learning more and more now with this particular situation, the Delulu land that we're speaking of, um, we're showing up in spaces. I'll say kings and gems are showing up in spaces where we have this emotional bypass switch that we,
Mhm.
whenever we feel like playing with it. And it comes from not doing the self work. It comes from not doing the inner work. It comes from not tapping in and realizing that we're setting demands and showing up and finding issues with other people that we really hate about ourselves.
Ooh.
Things that we don't like about ourselves. And they keep showing up in that individual, and we blame them and let them constantly letting them know why they're not qualified for being in our space. But
Mm.
things that we haven't worked on. We haven't sat with God and said, God, reveal these things to me and let me know what I need to work on before I make myself available to be found. Or help me work on myself before I go out and look for a wife. You know what I'm saying? So we're constantly stuck in the loop. It's a cycle of delusion. And the best way to cover it up and justify it is to say that we are the prize. And really,
Mm. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna just come to you, Chris, because go ahead.
Well, the first and biggest delusion is that, again, being in a relationship means that it's all about me.
Mm.
Um, I've heard this saying before, um, happy wife, happy life.
hmm,
Um, and oh boy, we know that probably isn't true, right? Like all the way. But one of our cousins is actually my wife's cousins, but they my cousins now because I just, they mine. One of my cousins, he said, happy spouse, happy house. And
Mhm.
I said, oh man, that actually lends itself to the scripture that says you ought to give each other preference. And
Mm.
so, no, it's not about Chris, this guy who's doing all these things that, like, oh, you should be submissive to me. And no, it's not about my wife who is dope in her own right in so many facets. No, it's about like, what can I do to accentuate and help the other? Traditionally we think about helpmates being like the woman, like, and that's even a delusion from the man's standpoint. She's supposed to help me do it. Whoa, let me help you out. um I watched, shameless plug, my this is how I met my wife, but Torrey Roberts introduced us to a video called Five Keys to Identifying a Soulmate.
Mhm.
And if you have not seen that, watch it. All right. And the third piece out of that, because he gave you five, the third one was wholeness. He said codependency should not exist. And the problem is, I can't feel like you are here to help me only, because then that means I'm not whole. There's some deficiencies that I have. And so, no, it's not that. What your wife is supposed to be your helpmate on is to carry out the vision that God has given you to lead not only yourself, but her and your family. She's supposed to add to that, not just help you realize dreams of
Mm.
playing video games all day. And I ain't against gamers. All I'm saying is, at some point, like scripture says, I got to put childish things away. And if it is not helping you build literally the kingdom of heaven right here on earth through your family, because you are the sermon that people see. Some people won't even go to church,
Mhm.
but they'll see how you live. They'll
Mhm.
see how you treat your wife. They'll
Mhm.
see how your wife responds to, say, the husband. And when they see that, they're either going to be inspired or they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And again, the delusion, unfortunately, is that we're supposed to have goals, right? Relationship goals, couple goals, and all this from social media. And the problem is you don't know them people. You don't have any idea. And it's so crazy because 1 month is relationship goals, and then you hear about the next month they're breaking up. And it's like, well, it wasn't that great. If you think about it, if 30 days can topple Rome, then Rome wasn't a great empire, was it? No. And so you got to make your relationship yours. And whatever that looks like, it's got to work for you. The delusion is that I can copy what I see on social media and make it work for me. It's probably not even real. I've met so many people that in life, they portray one thing on social media, and then I get to really know them, and I'm like, oh man, this is nothing like what is being portrayed. No shot at them, but it gives me enough pause to go, all right, the things that people think they see, think they want, that's more of a, as you guys are describing, a delusion. It's not exactly, it's like an illusion, kind of smoke and mirror. And what we got to do at some point is want our relationships to be authentically conducive to us. And I think that's when my wife understood that I'm a certain type of way and accepted that, and her acceptance and grace and mercy in that situation allowed me to go, all right, I want to be different for her and accept where she is. And then there's that preference. I'm giving more to her and she's giving more to me. And then we try to outgive each other. And then the delusion disappears because I know exactly who you are. You know exactly who I am. And it don't matter what anybody else thinks.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm-hmm. I legit okay. You know what? I said I was gonna host tonight and not talk much because I wanted to do more listening, but that was a whole word. That was an entire word, Chris. We are going to have y'all both back because y'all need to dive deeper into everything that you've shared. But I want to come to you, Tiff, and then I'm gonna come to you, Mel. Tiff, the delusion, whether it's the delusion that women have embraced and have held on to, and are now sharing the narrative with others, especially those women who have influence. And then the same for their fellas out here, these male influencers like Ace Metaphor and Stefan Speaks and all these others. I feel like some of their rhetoric is a bit delusional, but they have, thousands of followers who subscribe to their school of thought. Tell me from your perspective, like, what are some of these delusions, either ones that Ramel has touched on or Chris or just your own, that you believe is continuing this battle of the prize?
Okay. So again, here I go with my notes. The Lululand, I said, is like Monopoly. You got some people who are over here on Baltic, and they want to get to Park Place and Broad and Boardwalk, right? I think those people can be saved. um, but yeah, the reason that the Lululand is so populated right now is because in order to get out of the Lululand, you have to do a lot of forward-facing self-work, and that is difficult. It is difficult to. We can always look in the mirror and be like, "Oh, my hips are too big, or my nose is too fat," or the superficial things, and point out those things. But to look inside self and be like, "This is what I need to work on," that is difficult because it's pointing out a flaw that can't be fixed with cosmetic surgery or a waist trainer bar. Um, so yeah, it's hard to move out of the Lululand. Um, and right now, as far as being in relationships and the codependency, I don't think it's necessarily in the Lululand codependency. I think it's more trauma bonding, and where it's like I relate to the things that hurt and harmed you as a child because they're very similar to my own. And so as soon as one person begins to work on their traumas, it causes cracks and rifts in the relationship. And then it's like, well, I love this person. I don't want to leave them. But if being in love with this person is keeping you from bettering yourself, you have to be able to say, as much as I love him or her, I have to love myself a little more and let this go. And nobody wants to do that because, again, it takes work.
Yeah.
And the last thing about relationship goals is so hilarious because it made me think of Derek Jackson some years ago, where he was in his car in his medium shirt, just telling all these women, yes, I said medium shirt, telling all these women these things that they should expect out of men and how to carry themselves. And the whole time he is dogging the mess out of his wife. And so just like I think Ramale was saying, is like 30 days later, no, it was Chris. It's like Rome fell in 30 days. Like 1 minute somebody's relationship goes, and then the next thing you know, they've been separated for 6 months, and now she or he is filing for divorce. And now you're totally like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. You weren't supposed to. Because what we see on the Instagram and in public is the facade and the image that they want you to see. They don't want you to see that once they got into that limo, they was looking like Ike and Tina Turner. Okay. They don't want you to see that. So for me personally, the only relationship that's goals for me and my husband is Team Malini 71419. And we decided to surround ourselves with other couples so that we may borrow from them things that we're like, hey, that might work for us. We're not going to copy and paste it, but we're going to be like, yeah, this might work. We like how that couple, navigates conversation. And then we definitely like, oh, whatever they're doing over there, that ain't going to work for us. But if they like it, we love it. So.
I love it. I love it, Tiff. And Mel, real quick before I come to you, Chris and Tiff both said something that really triggered thoughts. And a lot of this I'm borrowing from our next episode. So make sure y'all come back, shameless plug, to our next episode, Drop the Ego. But when we talk about the institution of marriage, or even, the courting stage and the engagement that leads to marriage, delusion has really broken traditions and has broken God's original design for marriage. And what I mean by that is we have, these huge debt creating weddings. We have 25 groomsmen and 25 bridesmaids, and none of them are accountability partners. None of them are standing up beside you to say, I'm going to hold you accountable to your vows. I'm going to make sure that you respect and obey this man. I'm going to make sure that you're faithful and that you provide for this woman. No. It's literally, we're all going to be cute in your photos in hopes that we go viral. And so again, when we continue to discount and to dilute and diminish a lot of those principles and those morals and those standards, this is why relationships are what they are, because they no longer have the value that they once had. Social media has literally removed the value from so much and made it viral. So there's no longer any value in anything. It's just, as long as it's viral, it's dope. And the last point I wanted to make, like Tiff, you had said something that triggered a thought about trauma bonding and people who are in relationships and they would rather let the relationship go than deal with themselves under the guise of, I'm protecting my peace. No, you're escaping accountability. That's what you're doing. You're not protecting peace. You're deciding, I don't want to be accountable. I don't like what you're telling me. Take the mirror out my face. Don't show me me. Don't be sandpaper that is supposed to buff me out and make me smooth and better. No, you got to go because you're disrupting my peace. When really, I'm just finally presenting accountability, something that you never had to deal with. So with all that said, Mel, I want to come to you real quick, weigh in on this, and then we're going to jump in the comments before I comment.
So much has been given. So I don't want to touch on what's already been touched. I kind of want to give a perspective about like this delusion that you're creating for yourself, right? So for women, you made a comment in the beginning of this segment, Tima, you were saying that women are like, well, I'll become this soft person when he finds me. So here's the thing. If this man is looking for a soft, that's what he's looking for. So if he's shopping for Nikes, he's not going to Walmart. So if you're waiting for the man that's looking for a soft woman to find you to become soft, you're never going to be found because he's not shopping in your store.
Come, Mel, come on.
He's not in your store.
You're not gonna put a Nike on Louis Vuitton.
Right, and stop, you get out my head. And so for the reverse of that, for both parties, one, don't misrepresent yourself. So you thought you were gonna put the Jumpmans in a Nike box. So he picked up the Nike box, and then when he opened it and found out it was Jumpmans and didn't want it no more, now you were mad. But you weren't the Jordans he was looking for. You misled him. And then you was in the wrong store, and the vice versa. It's the same thing for men. The delusion happens when you know in your mind you are only, and I'm gonna go from the bottom up, but you knew in your mind that you only had JCPenney budget for women. That's where you was at. You knew you weren't there, but you strolled your behind in Louis Vuitton for this woman, and then got there and realized I haven't reached the capacity that I need to be at to be the man I need to be for her. And same thing for women. So the delusion came in when you walked in the store and thought you were going to find something that you knew they didn't sell when you walked in there. Come on. But you thought you could convince yourself that the Payless shoes were going to be just as comfortable as the shoes that you would have got from Nike. And they're not. And now your feet hurt and you got bunions and corns and you mad at Payless. Payless didn't deceive you. You deceived yourself.
Come on, Mel.
So we put ourselves in these delusional states because we expect things to look the way we want them to look in a situation that is not built for. So if you start shopping in the stores you're equipped for, and you start looking in the aisles that have the items that you want. When you walk in the supermarket and you want flour, you don't go to the fruit frozen section.
That part.
You don't. Because guess what? If you walk over to the frozen section and find flour, that flour is no good to you because it's frozen. It's misplaced. It's out of its element. It's out of its state. It's not going to be able to give you what it should give you because it's not in its right order. So the delusion, stop making things up in your mind and stop expecting things to be what they can't be. And stop looking at surface. We delusionalize ourselves at surface. Because we think because it looks like sugar that is sweet. But guess what? Salt looks like sugar too until you taste it.
Yep.
Or it could be cocaine, but hey.
Well, listen, that too. But do you know what I mean? We trick ourselves into believing things until you're forced to swallow it. I could sit here and pour salt in my coffee all day and tell myself it's sugar. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great until I gotta drink it. Yep. And I'm gonna realize it's nasty. And that's what we do in our relationships. We keep pouring sugar in our coffee, like, oh, this is gonna be the best coffee ever, until we have to drink it. And realize we can't stomach what we just created.
Ooh. I did not know this was gonna be the preaching teaching episode, but I'm here for it. We busted out on season.
I had to. It was their fault.
We don't even talk through to this.
Listen, so real quick, before we move on to the third and final subtopic, let's just jump in the comments, see if anybody had a question or a comment to contribute before we move on.
They over here. So I don't even know. I'm trying to scroll. So Grateful Ratch, I don't know who you are, but thank you. You're new. Your first time I'm seeing you in the show, so welcome. It says, I think it's important to share these men seem grounded and have a relationship with the Most High. I think it's important for us to be found by a God-fearing man. I think they're talking about you two gentlemen, so they're saying you guys are representing the men well. So we appreciate y'all. Let's see. Rock Your Girl Power says, it's a fight for the alpha.
Hello, beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we got going on here. Big Easy O2 said cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Indeed,
It
indeed.
is, and it's a hard habit to kick, so you might not want to start.
Might
So
not want to start. Exactly.
we all need.
It will definitely keep you in Delulu land.
Right.
Thank you, everybody. I can't get to everybody. There's so many comments here, but thank you, everybody. We promise to get online and respond to you and show y'all some love on our social media platforms, wherever you are. But thank y'all for the comments.
Exactly. So before we move into the third and final topic, we definitely want to encourage you, if you have not already, make sure that you share this live, make sure that you drop a comment so that we know you were here and show you some love. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed, hit that notification bell so that every time a new episode is uploaded or live, you will be notified so that you can join us. We are now on Instagram Live. I believe we went live tonight on Instagram. I don't know. I think we tried. But we're always here every Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube. So, our final topic before we move into our gym moment, or here's a gym moment, is the prize. Let's actually spend a few minutes talking about the prize. I want to come to each of you and hear, what do you think is the prize and why? And then I want you to add, for those who believe they're the prize, or who believe the opposite sex is the prize and looking to attain it or attract it or acquire it, what do they need to do with themselves to really get to the point where they are found by the prize or they find the prize? So I'm gonna come to you first, Tiffany, and then I'll come around the screen here. So Tiff, I'm gonna come to you first.
Dang, I thought I had time to write my notes. So, as I said earlier, the prize is actually the healthy relationship, and finding true love and respect with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once you release the Lululand and you move into the real world, you will see it's a beautiful place when you complement each other. Humans are social creatures, and so we're meant to be paired off. See, I don't normally do the Bible, but I'm gonna say, didn't Noah put the animals on the ark two by two? It was a reason.
There was a method to the madness. Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Okay.
Sid. Thank you. Chris, I'm going to come to you. What is the prize, or who is the prize and why?
Um, well, I gotta agree with Tiffany. I do want to say the prize depends on what you're trying to win.
Mm.
Again, if the goal is to do one thing, it's got to be synonymous with what you're doing, and to build towards that goal to win that prize. So if I'm trying to win a marathon, I'm not eating 30 hot dogs like I'm in the hot dog eating contest, because that's not what I'm trying to win. And so if you want a healthy relationship, you can't do things that is going to make the relationship unhealthy, because it's not exactly what you're doing. Um, One of the things, I use this quote for everything by Nick Saban: it's not about what you want, it's about what you're willing to do to get it.
Mm,
And if you aren't willing to put in the work, and it's real work, to get a healthy relationship, you don't want it. You can say what you like, but that's not really it, you know, because the prize literally could be something that's not even attainable by your standards, because you're unwilling to work for it. You've heard of the saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You can do that, you know? So if you, like Mel said, put in your mind that I'm about to obtain this diamond, 5 carats from the flea market for $8.99, something's wrong up top, because it's no way you came up on that. That's not what it is. And yeah, it might shine and it might look nice, but when you go back and that thing is nice and cloudy after a day or two, it's not that person's fault. It's you assigned more value to something that wasn't really valuable. I'll leave y'all with this. I don't know if you've seen this video, but it's all on social media about a shop in LA. Since we were talking about Payless, Mel brought it to my attention and back to my memory. They took Payless shoes and put it in a upscale store in LA, and people went crazy and talked about how chic everything was, and this was incredible, and it's so sophisticated. I remember hearing that word, and I mean, was willing to pay crazy amounts of money for what amounted to be probably 8.99 shoes, right? And that's what we're doing. We are unfortunately willing to pay an ungodly price for something that is not as valuable as we should even assign that to. Now, I'm not talking about other people. It's the thing we got to get. It's not that. The value is in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't work on you, and you assign a value to yourself that is very much so Louis Vuitton, but you're really Payless. How can you possibly go and find someone else and be what you want? How can you possibly be the prize? How can anyone possibly think, yeah, I hit the jackpot? Because unfortunately, you're not that. Again, codependency, we talked about it earlier, that's created in brokenness.
Mm.
I don't need to depend on you if I'm whole. But when two whole people come together, then you've won a prize because that's rare.
That part.
Mhm.
Come on, talk, sir. Y'all heard all that Baltimore in there? I heard that Baltimore coming out.
Chill, yo. Sorry, I'm sorry.
But I love it. I love it. You're so right. A healthy person will attract a healthy partner to create a healthy relationship. I love that, Chris. Thank you. Ramel, I'm gonna come over to you. And look, y'all not done yet because we need you to drop a gem. This is just who's the prize and why. So go ahead, Ramel.
I absolutely.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
You going in and out.
How about now? That better?
That's a little better.
Yeah, I was.
Uh-oh, no.
Nope, you're chopping in and out.
All right. That's okay. I'm gonna go to Mel and then come back to you, Ramel.
Go get your earpiece or something. I don't know.
Go ahead, Mel. And we'll come back to you, Ramel.
I don't know. I just met Chris, but he was all in my head and in my thoughts because I was literally in my head. I was thinking about who's the prize or what we was talking. What's the prize? And I was thinking like, same thing. Like, what prize are you trying to get? So when you think of like sports or different athletic elements, you have like regional, you have state, and then you have like the grand championship or whatever. So it's like, well, where are you trying to get to? Because if your goal is to get to the Olympics, which is like the epitome, the top rank of it, then there's you gotta get the smaller prizes first.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta first get the prize of, like he said, becoming a whole person, healing you, becoming the person that you need and want to be in the relationship that you're trying to attain.
Mm-hmm.
The next prize is being in a position to be able to attract the type of person that you want to build this life with. And then if you can win both of those, you probably have the best chance of being able to get to the Olympics, where the ultimate prize is having a long, healthy relationship that serves both of you, not just one. So it is really about what prize you're trying to get, because some people, after they win, regional, they're happy. Like, oh, well, I got this one. I'm good. I made this. I've reached these goals in my life and I'm great. And they don't care if they get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do care though about getting to the highest point of whatever that stature is for you, then you got to win all the prizes along the way.
That's right.
And usually in most of these sports, you don't win them by yourself.
No.
So you have to have the right people around you, have that right circle around you, and be able to have the right people around you. The basketball team is not gonna, if they want to make it to the championship, they're not gonna swap out all of their key players and go draft the football team.
Yeah.
We don't play the same sport. We don't have the same rules. We don't have the same rhetoric. We're not doing the same thing. So ultimately, we may get to a certain point, but at some point, if we're gonna hit a wall, we just not matching. Mm-hmm. And that just means you don't have the right skill sets that they need, and they don't have the right skill sets that you need to get you to the next level. So you gotta first figure out what prize are you trying to attain.
Right.
Where are you in that, where do you fit into that? Mm-hmm. And it requires your training, your conditioning, your mental state, your emotional state, all of that, in order to be able to progressively move through all of the chains of command to get to the prize.
Mm.
Nobody just walks out one day today and just walks right into first place. Championship. I won the world champ. You had to play a whole season, do all this to get to that point. You don't just walk out the gate and get to your prize. And that's, I think, the problem with a lot of us is we just want to walk out to the prize immediately. It
Yeah.
takes work and time to get to that prize,
Mhm.
and it requires both parties to ultimately get to the end. So for me, there's several prizes in this, and none of them are self-centered. They're offered the benefit of what's to come at the end of it. So you gotta win the prize of becoming whole in your whole self. You have to win the prize of now understanding what it is that you want and who you want to attract and what's going to work for you. And then you win the ultimate prize of being able to now bring that to someone and have someone bring it back to you and get the prize. Because I feel like rather than getting the prize should really be you being able to show up
Mhm.
in the best part of yourself, not what what you attain from that person, but what you bring to that situation should be the prize, not the other way around.
Mhm. Mhm. Come on here. Come on, somebody. All right, Ramela, I'm gonna come to you, and then we're gonna get to our gym
Uh,
dropping moment.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So I agree with Mel, Tiffany, and Chris. Um, when we think about the purpose of a man and a woman coming together, if you're tapped in, you automatically know that that's something ordained by God.
Mhm.
And when you go to a competition, when you go to the Grammy committee is the one who gives you your Grammy.
Mhm.
So who's going to give you your prize when you understand the the ordained structure of a man and a woman coming together? God
Mhm.
is going to give you the prize, right? And he's holding that prize, which is marriage.
Mhm.
Say we want a wife, we say we want a husband. What are we going to do to get that prize from God?
Mhm.
Jump in self, deal with self, condition self, make sure self is showing up to the game on point, make sure self is putting in the time in the studio, make sure self is writing these songs that are going to inspire the world. Self has to do what self is supposed to do so God can bless you with the prize. I think the
Mhm.
ultimate gift, the ultimate prize, ultimate reward of a man and a woman coming together is coexisting in the God has allowed us and instructed to walk.
Mhm.
God bless us. We we can only with the tools, with the mind of what the
I so appreciate it. Of course, I agree with all of you. I feel like the connection is the prize. And the reason I say the connection is because it's not just in romantic relationships, it's in platonic relationships, it's in friendships. Because many of us approach our friendships with, well, I'm the prize, she's lucky to be my friend, or he's lucky to be my boy, my homeboy.
Mhm.
No, I feel like that connection is the win. Having people that you can trust, having people that you can be vulnerable with, be yourself with, heal with, all of those things. So I agree. It sounds like it is unanimous. So we're all in agreement and alignment. Dope. All right. So look, it is time for our final thoughts. We call it "Here's a Gem" on the Hustle and Shine podcast, and it's where you just take 30 seconds and share a thought. It does not have to be relevant or relative to the show tonight. It could literally be anything you believe that our gems can appreciate, that they can apply, and that will resonate with them. So take a moment, drop a gem. I'm gonna literally do the same thing I did and go through the boxes. Tip, I'm gonna come to you first. What is your gem?
I knew that was coming. I was ready this time. Here's my gem. We have to decide what it is we want out of the relationship, friendship, partnership, whichever ship it is that you're on. If it's value, then you have to bring value to that relationship. And if you want to be viral, then you can't be disappointed when the prize you win is fool's gold.
Y'all chose violence tonight. Chris, I'm gonna come to you. Dang, Tip. Pow, pow, pow. Go ahead, Chris.
Real simple. It's again. I'll go back to my favorite quote. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it. And when you state you want a certain thing, again, let's just say the prize, as we said, is a healthy relationship. If you're not willing to work on self, You're not willing to swallow that comment sometimes. You're not willing to be vulnerable. You're not willing to forgive. You're not willing to extend some mercy and receive some mercy. You're not willing to see yourself as the lesser, because you have to do that from time to time where you got to take the back seat, men and women. If you're not going to be supportive, if you think it's all about you, you're not willing to lose any of those things, then it does not matter what you say you want. It just doesn't. What you're saying and what your actions are aligning to are two different things. So I pray that you take that from tonight. Not about what you want, it's about what you're willing to do to get it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Come on, good word. Thank you, Chris. Ramel.
My beautiful gem for the night. Grab a pen, grab a sheet of paper, list all of those amazing things you want from the desire to coexist in life with, and make sure you
Mm.
meet that list. Then you'll be in place, understand what you need to be, and how to identify who and what. Show up as yourself. Don't show up as old. That much.
Good word. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mel V.
Right, two males. I guess I'm gonna kind of stick with the theme from my last comment is that before you go shopping, know what you're shopping for, and make sure you walk into the right store
Mm.
because and make sure that you have what you need to shop in that store.
Mm.
Because if you show up in the wrong place looking for the wrong thing and don't have the money to pay for it, you're gonna be very disappointed and very upset. So when you're looking for the prize, make sure that you are looking for or working towards the correct prize that you actually want to attain.
Mm.
Make sure that you're putting in the work for that. Make sure you're headed in the right direction and make sure that you possess everything that you need to be able to uphold what comes with attaining that prize. Because sometimes the trophy that we're looking for is too heavy for us to carry.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
Naps on that one. Jeez, listen, y'all, y'all brought it tonight. This was a dope show.
Absolutely.
My final thought is actually a quote that I'm stealing from my good friend Tiffany Mathias. She says this to me all the time, and that is how you do something is how you do everything. So the way you show up to work, the way you show up to your own life, the way you show up in friendships is the way you're going to show up in relationships and in love. So if you want a whole career and you want your finances to be whole and you want your friendships to be whole, you have to be whole. So show up for yourself the way you want to show up in every other area of your life. So that means doing that inner work, doing that healing work, doing that shadow work. So that's all I had to offer tonight. This was such an amazing show. Huge thank you to Chris Jones, to Ramel. Please share really quick, how can the people reach you? How can they follow you? How can they connect with you beyond this show, this platform? Go ahead,
Uh,
Chris.
Quite simply, I am Chris Jones, the number two. You can get to my Instagram, and I think that's also like the Facebook thing and the Twitter thing and all that good stuff. And you can find my album on any digital media platform. It's entitled Whole. It has 7 pieces on there, about an hour's worth of work. So definitely check that out when you get an opportunity.
Fire, and you will not be disappointed. Ramel, how about you? How can the gems and gents connect with you?
Gems and Chance can
We lost your
We
audio.
lost you again.
on
We
low.
keep losing your audio.
My back.
Yes.
Yes.
Back. Yes. Hence, and you can connect with me at www.melarchibald.com. ArchibaldLegacyGroup.com. EI for Legacy on Instagram. And
Well, thank you again for being here tonight. Of course, make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Visit diamondwriters.com. Look forward to our next book. Make sure that you tune in next week, Wednesday, same time, same platform. We will be back with another episode. We're bringing you episode 2 of season 4 of the Hustle and Shine podcast. Until then, y'all continue to hustle and shine. Bye. Good night, folks.
Bye.
Let's go. Let's go.